There are a ton of hidden secret weapons and armor in Black Myth Wukong, like the Mythic Bull King armor set. This has like the highest defense skill in the game and is extremely easy to miss. The downside being that you can't unlock it until chapter 5. As soon as you get to chapter 5 though, you'll come to Ashen Pass 1 shrine. Just past it, you'll find a big battle going on with the Pale Axe Stalwart in the middle of it. He's one of the easier boss battles in the game, and after you defeat him, you can talk to him. You want to make sure you exhaust all of his dialogue where he wants you to find some runaway elemental carts. The first 3 are story related, and you'll need to find them to progress since they're blocking the path that you need to go down to continue the story. After you beat the first 2, continue until you get to Emerald Hall, where you have the big yin and yang boss fight. Immediately after that, you can come from the Emerald Hall Shrine, head to the left of the altar that boss fight took place at, all the way down and up into the mountain that leads to the Crimson Silver Cart. This is also the way that you go to progress the story, but after defeating the Crimson Silver Cart, you want to continue on to the next shrine or go back to the Emerald Hall one so that you can go all the way back to Ashen Pass 1 where you met the Pale Axe Stalwart originally. Once you're there, exhaust all of his dialogue again until he's repeating the same line over and over again. Now you can once again head back to Emerald Hall and run back up to where you defeated the Crimson Silver Cart, where now you should find the Pale Axe Stalwart standing around in the corner. Talk to him again and go through all of his dialogue one more time. Now we can move on to the final cart, and that is the Rusty Gold Cart. This isn't found until almost the end of the chapter, where during the path of the main story, you have to traverse down the road while avoiding this giant spiky ball. Once you make it to the end of that and the spiky ball is not chasing you anymore, a cutscene occurs and you'll be nearby the Field of Fire Fallen Furnace Crater Shrine. If you're at that shrine, you'll have to backtrack down to where that ball was, but on your way down the path, you'll see a tower on your right hand side and one to the left. Just after those towers, on the left hand side is now a path that wasn't open before. Go down there where you can find a fragrant vine, a couple of boss fights, and a chest, but where we want to go is all the way down to the very end where you'll find a giant ice wall. If you did everything correctly, you should have the Rusty Golden Cart appear in front of you, where you need to fight it in order to open up Chapter 5's secret area. Inside of there, you'll need to progress toward the very end and complete the secret area, which rewards you with the Bull King's mythic armor. For the iron horns that are needed to craft it, you can only get 4 for each playthrough. You get 1 horn for opening the golden chest that you find in that long hallway in the secret area that's towards the end of it, and then 3 more for killing the last boss in that secret area. After that, if you want more, you'll need to start a new game plus, where you can go through the same process over again to get 4 more of those Bull King's iron horns, 1 from the golden chest, and again 3 from the boss. Which kinda sucks, because the other thing that you can craft with those horns is the dark iron staff. This is one of the strongest staffs in the game, and even though it only does 110 damage technically, which is less than a couple of other staffs, it does extra attack damage based off how much defense you have. The only thing is, even after lowering my defense by respeccing the Zoodog upgrades that you can use and taking off any of my good armor, I've brought my defense all the way down from like 400 down to 150, and I don't notice that much of a difference with the attack. Either way though, it already does a ton of damage in general. But to get the Dark Iron Staff, you need to collect 6 Buddha Eyes that are all in the general area near Rockcrest's Flat Shrine in Chapter 2, and insert them into the stone near the giant rock boss battle near that same shrine. That unlocks the Cloud Pattern Staff, the first staff that leads to the Dark Iron. The one in between those, the next one that you'll need, is the Staff of Blazing Karma that you can't get until Chapter 5, where you need the Samadhi Fire Crystals in order to craft it. If you go back to that Valley Entrance Shrine, instead of veering off to the right, you can continue over to the left into the lava, where you can find the Flint Chief. Destroy him to get the Samadhi Fire Crystal. And again, I highly recommend the Fireproof Mantle's passive ability that lets you walk around in the lava without getting burnt. Later on in that hidden entrance that opened up at Ashen Pass 3, the one that we went over that led to the secret area, the Flint Vanguard just before it drops the second Samadhi Fire Crystal. And the third Fire Crystal can be found in that same exact area where you can summon the Mother of Flaming Spirits by spending 4 Flame Ore, which you get for taking out the fireworms that are springing up all over the place. So in New Game Plus, you get the ability to upgrade armor at a shrine, but you can actually do this in the base game as well. In Chapter 3, once you get to the north shore of Bitter Lake, you can find a dragon named Chen Long wandering around in the water. And after a friendly encounter with him, he'll need you to retrieve some medicine from Zoodog over in the cellar of Chapter 2, near where you fought the Yellowwind Sage. Talk to Zoodog a couple of times until you have no more dialogue left. This is super important because the first time I did this, I went all the way back to the dragon before I realized Zoodog just gave me a mind core, and I still needed to talk to him again. So once he gives you the special made bone strengthening pellet, you can bring that over to the dragon, who will transport you over to Rugi's scroll, where you can speak to a tiger holding the Dragon Slayer sword, who upgrades your armor. If you challenge this guy to a fight, he'll give you a secret reward, which I was really hoping would be the sword itself. I know we only get a staff, but that sword is just so dang cool. He does give you his spirit though, so you can transform into him during combat and use the sword. This is a pretty cool spirit to have and does a decent amount of damage, but I really don't think it's worth it in the sense of how difficult this fight was. Like, he's easily top 5 hardest fights in the game, maybe 3rd or 4th hardest. One of the best armor sets in the game that you can also upgrade to mythic armor that you can get most of in as early as Chapter 2 is the insect armor, but it is extremely easy to miss the chest portion of this armor, and a good portion of you guys probably already ran into the insect armor bracers, legs, and hat, which all look really sick, but you probably ended up like, where the heck is the chest piece? If you don't know how to get the 4 pieces excluding the chest piece, you need to go over to the Rock Crest Flat Shrine, and instead of going inside of the cave or into the giant stone boss fight area, you want to head all the way down towards the direction you're facing when you're using that shrine, and head all the way down into the wooden barricade that you can break through in order to find the drunk pig, who is laid up on a stone. And if you exhaust all of his dialogue, he'll tell you he needs a sobering stone. You get this sobering stone from the Windrest Bridge Shrine that you find just past the temple entrance where you fought the tiger. Head on down past the bridge where you'll have a ton of shield enemies and spitters. Just continue on into the second part of the village, and off to the left is a small shack with a destroyable jar that contains a sobering stone. Take this back to the drunk pig, and he'll then tell you to meet him at the temple entrance. He's hiding inside of a little cranny just above the stairs to the temple entrance before going into the actual tiger fight arena. He's extremely easy to miss here, but once you find him, he wants some Jade Lotus, which you can purchase from a shrine or find in any body of water in the game. Now you just need a piece of gold that you get from the Rat King, Rat Prince boss fight. This is found super early in the chapter, where if you beat the bigger guy, the little one will run off over to the Valley of Despair shrine. Just head all the way through the cave and until you get into the open area where you can watch him summon the bigger rat boss. If you defeated the prince first in that boss fight, the game forces you to beat both of them, where you'll then have to go to the edge and summon the giant rat yourself. Defeat that giant rat where you get the gold piece the drunk pig needs, and then just bring it back to him at the Rock Crest Flats Shrine, the original place that you met him at. And he'll open up the secret area where you need to fight a couple of bosses that reward you with the insect armor that you can craft at a shrine afterwards. The chest piece is a little different, as you'll have to wait until almost the end of Chapter 4 to get it. First, you need to make it over to the Pool of Shattered Jade Shrine that can be found once you hop down into the Webbed Hollow. If you don't know how to get to the Pool of Shattered Jade Shrine, as soon as you get to the Webbed Hollow, you'll come over to the Upper Hollow Shrine. From here, just follow the path that I go. Once you get there, we just need to go right around the corner where you'll find a cave with some webbed cocoons hanging around, and just to the left of those you'll see an open area with a giant cocoon hanging from a tree. You need to break that open so that the Venom Daoist or Taoist can bust out so that you can defeat him. And then you can continue the story towards the end of the chapter until you get to the Court of Illumination Shrine. This is right before the end boss fight. Do not start that fight yet. Instead, follow the path that I go here. Once you're here, you can fight the Venom Daoist once again, where he will allow you into the secret area called Purple Cloud Mountain. The beginning of this section is super linear up until you get to the Valley of Bloom Shrine. From there, sort of head more towards the right side of the open area until you get to the Bounds of Deity's Abode Shrine. It's important that you come here before doing much else, especially before you fight the main boss in Purple Cloud Mountain. Just past the Bounds of a Deity's Abode Shrine, you will find Scorpion Lord. You'll find him laid up talking crap to you until you smash one of his liquor barrels, which starts the actual boss fight. Up to this point, this is the hardest boss fight in the game in my opinion. There are only 2 boss fights in the game that might be harder. It took me a ton of tries, but I found it much easier to do in New Game Plus. The reason you fight Scorpion Lord first is because if you fight the main boss, Duskvale, before Scorpion Lord, you can no longer fight Scorpion Lord at all. It gets rid of the boss fight. This becomes obvious why if you fight Duskvale first, because Scorpion Lord jumps in and gets destroyed, despite his boss fight being like 10 times harder than Duskvale. If he dies in the Duskvale fight, you will unlock the insect armor, but you will not get the death stinger that you need to craft it, and he is the only one that can give that to you. So you have to beat him in your own fight with him. I didn't, and I couldn't craft this until New Game Plus. Defeating him will also reward you with the Stained Jade Gourd, which is probably the best mid-game gourd, I guess early game if you get it for your first playthrough, because it allows you to drink the gourd absurdly fast. Like, I'm not fast forwarding this clip here, this is the real rate at which it drinks. But that's pretty much it. I'll have at least a couple more Black Myth Wukong videos up soon. The only reason I didn't have more is because I couldn't stop playing it. I'm currently on my 3rd playthrough.